Business Expo members. Doug, didn't we get you at the Business Expo last year?
Yes, sir.
So it pays dividends. And the second thing is we really want to roll out information about next year's Angler Expo. And we want to talk about what we've done over the last year and what we did with last year's proceeds and the success we had. So everyone put that date in there, and we will put a sign-up sheet.
October 2nd.
Did I say?
Yeah, you said October 3rd, that's the golf tournament.
I'm sorry, October 2nd. Thank you, Chris. Good save.
That's a Thursday.
October 2nd, and sorry, now you got to take the phone back out and change the date. And we'll send a sign-up sheet around next week with probably no more than an hour. If everyone participates, is willing to give an hour, that's all we should have to do throughout the day. I know some of us are going to have multiple booths, so we can go back and forth. So, any questions about that? None? All right. Casey, I believe you have a new member induction.
Yes.
Hey.
Paul, where is this student? Where?
That is today.
For where?
Branson,
They're at Branson.
Fall Creek.
Fall Creek.
Before I do my induction, just to get you guys riled up to bring some members in here, we're going to do the Branson giveaway again at Fall Creek. And the dates on that are June 12th through the 14th. So, guys, turn up some business. Okay, Bob, will you come forward for me? Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, Mr. Bob Sherrill, you've been proposed for membership in the Cleveland County Rotary Club and duly elected. Therefore, it is my pleasure to formally induct you into this club. I understand that you're aware of the Rotary requirements and that you have indicated your willingness to follow them, as well as your willingness to offer your services to assist your fellow Rotarians in their community projects as well as their international projects. As you know, Rotary is a service above self club, each member performing what Rotary terms as service above self, in addition to serve you, will have the benefit of strong bonds of friendship with fellow Rotarians locally and worldwide. I'm going to present you with this packet of literature. I especially commend your attention to the object of Rotary and the four-way test. That's what we form in the criteria for our everyday lives. And I'm going to give you this pen on your left side.
All right, hold it a minute. Bob, turn this way.
Hold on. There we go. It's official. Welcome to Rotary.
All right. That's 2 in 3 weeks. We got to keep this trend going. So who's next? Somebody's got to get someone in for next week. So I need that green card in front of me before I leave today. So you better start working fast. All right. It's my honor to introduce our speaker today, Miss Sandra Bird with Arkansas Electric Cooperative. She serves as Vice President of Public Affairs and Member Service for the Arkansas Electric Cooperative Corporation. She previously served as Chairman of the Arkansas Public Service Commission during the administration of Governor Mike Huckabee. While serving on the Arkansas Commission, she also served on the Board of Directors of the National Association of Regulatory Utility Commissioners. During her years in public office, she focused on state and federal energy policy, regional electricity planning, and energy efficiency. Sandra currently serves on the Communication Committee of the Electric Power Research Institute, the Executive Committee of the DOE EPA State Energy Efficiency Action Network, excuse me, and is a regular member of the Aspen Energy Institute. Sandra earned a Juris Doctorate degree from Washington University in St. Louis in 1985 and a bachelor's degree from the University of Arkansas at Fayetteville in 1982. She's worked in the public utility industry for 30 years. Please join me in welcoming Sandra Burke.
Good morning, everyone, and it's a pleasure to be here with you today. It's a sobering topic that I'm here to talk to you about today, but it's a very important public policy issue. This has to do with the EPA's new proposed rule to reduce carbon dioxide emissions from existing power plants. And the essence of this rule is to shut down as many coal plants in the United States as possible, which is a very huge implication to reliability and the cost of electricity in the country. And one of the things we're trying to do is get folks like you involved in the debate so that you can talk to senators and congressmen and other folks about your concerns.
To what end? I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
Are you pro or are you con?
I'm con shutting down coal plants.
Got it. That's right.
Yeah. No, I would be fired if I had any other position. At any rate, let me give you just a little quick background about us. The electric cooperatives of Arkansas serve 60% of the landmass in Arkansas and about 40% of the population. There are 17 local distribution co-ops in Arkansas. First Electric is one of those. And as you can see on this map, we're pretty much spread throughout the whole entire state. The company that I work for owns the generation plants and the transmission service. So we generate the electricity that goes over the transmission system into the distribution cooperative systems to serve you locally. Our mission statement is to be reliable, affordable, and responsible. Reliability is key because if you don't have reliable service, it doesn't matter what it costs. Affordability is second, and then we are responsible with respect to our stewardship of our members' money and service to the local communities. Part of our motto is also powering communities and empowering members to improve the quality of their lives. We have a diverse fleet of generation. Our board of directors, which governs us, has believed for years it's important to have some eggs in every basket, just like you wouldn't put all your retirement portfolio in one fund. We have coal plants, we have natural gas plants, we have hydroelectric power plants on the Arkansas River, we have wind power purchase agreements, and we also have a biomass facility up in northwest Arkansas. So we are diverse. We believe in renewables, we believe in coal, we believe in nuclear, although we don't happen to own any of that at the moment. But as you can see, our resources are spread throughout the entire state, and that diversity is what allows us to be so affordable. We have one of the lowest wholesale power rates in the nation, and in this part of the country, we were the lowest until one of the Kentucky cooperatives has a 5.1 cents per kilowatt hour rate. They just beat us this year, which is irritating to us because we like to be the lowest and the cheapest. And then on a retail basis, the state of Arkansas is blessed. This state has the 5th lowest electric cost in the nation, which is good because we also have the one of the lowest poverty rates, or one of the highest poverty rates, one of the lowest per capita incomes in the United States. But there are dramatic changes ahead. These kinds of changes don't happen but every 30, 40 years, and we're on the precipice of a new one. The Environmental Protection Agency issued a rule June 2nd of this year that would force electric utilities to lower massively the use of their coal plants. The carbon dioxide emission reduction level that they placed on Arkansas is 44%, which is huge. We have the 7th highest carbon emission reduction target. As you can see on this chart, the states that have the biggest burden are on the left-hand side of the chart. We're the 7th one in terms of the burden of shutting down coal plants and thereby reducing the carbon dioxide emissions. Yes, sir.
What will qualify the criteria? Is that a capita per base of how much emissions has been released, or the?
It's based on how much generation you have in your state.
Thank you.
Now, this is the time frame, a graph of the time frame that the EPA has given everybody for this reduction. The 44% reduction that we're supposed to make, they claim is a nice slow curve or glide path towards the deadline of 2030. Our CEO, Dwayne Hiley, refers to it as a cliff. Because in essence, even though this is a proposed rule, and it will become a final rule, and then the state has to do an implementation plan, and this takes several years, They want essentially the 44% to be essentially met by 2020. And so that's just like stopping, jamming on your brakes and making it a dramatic change as opposed to any kind of a glide path. There are 4 different categories, the EPA calls them blocks, 4 different categories of things that they think the states can do to give them flexibility in achieving this goal. Now, the first step that they said states ought to be able to take is to increase coal plant efficiency by 6%. That means getting 6% more energy out of the coal that's burned. Well, our CEO is an engineer, and he used to run power plants, used to run coal plants in Missouri before he joined us. And he said if any engineer, if any coal plant operator left 6% energy efficiency on the table, they'd be fired. He said this is an impossibility. And as a matter of fact, one of the engineering firms in the country, Sargent Lundy, which EPA quotes for coming up with this figure, they're going to be submitting comments saying there is no way. They never said you could get 6% more efficiency out of coal plants. So, probably the maximum would be 1. The third block has to do with renewable electricity. And in the state of Arkansas, we do not have much good access to wind or solar. We do have hydropower, but we pretty much maxed out the good hydropower spots on the Arkansas River. So the ability to generate more renewables within inside the state is pretty limited, and it would be very expensive. The renewables that we have that are in the wind category are Kansas and Oklahoma, so we're importing that power over transmission lines. But getting it from Arkansas is not really feasible. And then energy efficiency, block number 4, is very aggressive and very expensive to reduce usage across your whole customer base by 1.5% through energy efficiency is pretty unlikely. The biggest way that EPA knows states are going to have to use to reduce CO2 emissions is by dispatching gas more than coal. Right now, coal is dispatched a lot more. We have what's called economic dispatch in the public utility industry. That means you dispatch your cheapest plants first to keep electricity as low as possible. Coal dispatches first because it is cheapest, and then natural gas. So what the EPA wants is to swap that and have environmental dispatch instead of economic dispatch. Problem with that is that's going to cause huge reliability implications on the grid and rates to go up. The target that they put on our heads for Arkansas, that 44% emission target, is going to require a 64% displacement of our coal for natural gas. This pie chart shows, in a perfect world without this EPA rule, how much coal would be dispatched in 2020 relative to the other sources. That target up there is 58%. We would be supplying your electricity